The sun beat down on the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower, casting long shadows across the deck. The heat was relentless, but the crew was used to it. They had been sailing these waters for months, and the sun was just another part of their daily routine. It was January 6, 2025, a date that would soon be etched into the memories of everyone on board. The ship's logbook recorded the mundane details of the day, but the reality was anything but ordinary. Another day on patrol in the Red Sea. The waters were deceptively calm, a stark contrast to the underlying tensions that simmered just below the surface. The Red Sea was a strategic choke point, a vital artery for global trade and military operations. The Big One, as she was known, was a city on the water. With over 5,000 crew members, it was a floating metropolis, complete with its own airport, hospital, and power plant. Life on board was a blend of routine and readiness, each sailor playing a crucial role in the ship's operations. Sailors went about their jobs with practiced efficiency. From the flight deck to the engine room, every task was performed with precision. Maintenance crews checked and rechecked equipment, ensuring everything was in perfect working order. Planes were prepped for missions, their sleek forms glinting in the sunlight. The F/A-18E Super Hornets were the pride of the fleet, their pilots trained to respond to any threat at a moment's notice. Each aircraft was armed and ready, a testament to the Navy's commitment to maintaining a state of constant readiness. Deep below, in the Combat Information Center, eyes scanned radar screens. The room was filled with the hum of machinery and the quiet murmur of voices. Everything seemed normal. It wasn't. Unbeknownst to the crew, a threat was looming on the horizon, invisible to the naked eye but all too real. The Red Sea was a vital waterway. It was a choke point. Tensions were always high. The narrow strait was a bottleneck for maritime traffic, and any disruption could have far-reaching consequences. The crew was well aware of the stakes, their training preparing them for any eventuality. The Navy was used to it. Years of experience had taught them to expect the unexpected. They were disciplined, their operations a well-oiled machine. Routine activities were carried out with a sense of purpose, each sailor knowing their role in the larger mission. But today, something felt different. There was a palpable tension in the air, a sense of unease that was hard to shake. The sailors were on high alert, their senses heightened. They didn't know what was coming, but they could feel it in their bones. The sailors didn't know it yet, but they were about to be tested. An alert sounded, breaking the monotony of the day. The crew sprang into action, their training kicking in. They moved with purpose, each step a part of a well-rehearsed dance. The world was about to see the might of the U.S. Navy. The USS Dwight D. Eisenhower and her crew were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. They were a formidable force, a symbol of strength and resilience. As the sun set on the Red Sea, the stage was set for a day that would go down in history. A blip on the radar, then another, and another. Multiple fast-moving contacts were closing in fast. The alarm shrieked. This was no drill. The crew jumped into action. Adrenaline surged through their veins. Years of rigorous training kicked in. The call went out. Incoming missiles. The ship shuddered as the defense systems roared to life. It was a race against time itself. The first wave was upon them. Chinese-made C-802 anti-ship missiles. These were deadly weapons, but the Navy was ready. The ship bristled with defensive systems. The Aegis Combat System, the heart of the Navy's defense, tracked the incoming threats. Evolved Sea Sparrow missiles, or ESSMs, roared into the sky. These were designed to take down missiles. The sky lit up with explosions. The Navy scored direct hits. The first wave was neutralized, but the attack was far from over. Section 4, Drone Swarm. The second wave was different, a swarm of Shahed 136 drones. These were Iranian-made suicide drones, small and maneuverable. They were difficult to target. The CIWs, or close-in weapon system, was their last line of defense. This was a Gatling gun on steroids. It unleashed a torrent of 20mm rounds, shredding drones out of the sky. The sea was littered with debris. The Navy had weathered the storm, but they weren't done yet, not by a long shot. Section 5, Finding the Enemy. The attack was over, but the mission wasn't. The Navy had just faced a sudden and unexpected assault. The initial shock had passed, but the urgency to respond was palpable. The command center buzzed with activity as officers pored over maps and screens, strategizing their next move. Now it was time to hit back. Retaliation was not just about revenge, it was about sending a clear message. The Navy's arsenal was ready. Missiles launched from ships and jets roared off aircraft carriers, each carrying a payload of precision and power. The Navy needed to find out who was responsible. Intelligence teams worked around the clock, analyzing data streams and piecing together clues. Every bit of information was crucial. The enemy had to be identified, and quickly, and they needed to do it fast. Satellites scanned the area. High above the Earth, these eyes in the sky provided real-time imagery, revealing movements and hidden locations. The desert terrain was vast, but the technology was precise. ISR aircraft or intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance were deployed. They gathered intel. These aircraft, equipped with advanced sensors, flew over the desert, capturing every detail. Drones joined the effort, their silent flight offering a stealthy advantage. The Navy had a good idea who was behind this. The pieces of the puzzle were coming together. In strategy meetings, officers discussed the intelligence gathered, formulating a plan of action. The enemy's signature tactics were becoming clear. They tracked the origin of the attack to a network of underground bunkers. These were heavily fortified. Hidden beneath the desert sands, these bunkers were designed to withstand assaults. But the Navy was determined to breach them. It was time to call in the big guns. Battleships readied their missile systems, fighter jets were armed, and elite Navy SEAL teams prepared for a high-stakes mission. The objective was clear: neutralize the threat and ensure it could never strike again. The Navy's response would be swift and decisive. Section 6 Retaliation. The Navy responded with overwhelming force. Tomahawk missiles were launched. These were long-range, precision-guided weapons. They could take out targets hundreds of miles away. FA-18 Super Hornets, the Navy's premier fighter jets, were scrambled. They carried out airstrikes on the enemy bunkers. The earth shook. The message was clear: don't mess with the U.S. Navy. Section 7. A message sent. In the heart of the Navy operations briefing room, the atmosphere was tense yet focused. Naval officers gathered around a large table, meticulously planning their next move. The stakes were high, and every decision counted. The operation was a success. Cheers erupted as the news spread through the ranks. High fives and pats on the back were exchanged among the crew, a moment of relief and pride after days of relentless effort. The Navy had defended itself against a sophisticated attack. The enemy had underestimated their resolve and capabilities. Every sailor knew their role and executed it flawlessly, maintaining a state of high alert and readiness. They had retaliated with precision and force. The counterattack was swift and decisive, showcasing the Navy's advanced weaponry and strategic prowess. Missiles launched with pinpoint accuracy, and naval artillery fired in perfect synchronization. But this wasn't just about sinking ships or destroying bunkers. It was a complex operation involving intelligence gathering, strategic planning, and seamless communication. The command center buzzed with activity, each piece of information critical to the mission's success. It was about sending a message of strength, unity, and unwavering commitment. The Navy flag flew high, a symbol of their resolve. The fleet sailed in perfect formation, a testament to their discipline and coordination. The U.S. Navy was a global force. Their presence was felt in every corner of the world, from the vast oceans to the narrow straits. They were not just a military power, but a symbol of stability and peace. They were the guardians of the seas. Day and night they patrolled the waters, ensuring the safety and security of international shipping lanes. Their vigilance was unwavering, their commitment unbreakable. They would not be intimidated. The crew stood firm, their expressions stern and determined. They knew the risks, but they also knew their duty. They were prepared to face any challenge head-on. They would not back down. Through rough seas and stormy weather, the fleet advanced. The officers led with courage and conviction, inspiring their crew to push forward, no matter the obstacles. This attack, on this day, January 6, 2025, was a reminder to the world. A reminder that the U.S. Navy was always ready to defend its nation and its allies. The USS Dwight D. Eisenhower, a symbol of American might, engaged the threat with unmatched precision. The U.S. Navy was ready. They were always ready. From dawn till dusk, their training and drills ensured they could respond to any situation at a moment's notice. Their readiness was not just a state of mind, but a way of life. Don't even think about it. To any adversary contemplating an attack, the message was clear. The U.S. Navy was vigilant, prepared, and unyielding. Their presence at dawn and their silhouette at sunset served as a constant reminder of their enduring strength and resolve.